Well, hello, friends. Glad you could join us. Welcome to what could be a potentially championship-clinching penultimate round of the CCRL Wednesday tier season. Tonight, the battle is between the two Mercedes teammates who have already claimed the Constructors' Championship. According to that of Johnny Damon, Charlie Golf in the Mercedes has to outscore Reimer in the other Mercedes by 11 points. In order to win the Drivers' Championship this season with a race to spare, the Mercedes have obviously won the Constructors' Championship, as I've said. There is still a tight battle for second place. We can get to that just right now, as that battle does include the Aston Martin team and the Alpine team. 4 points separate the Astons and the Alpines. Heading into these final two rounds. Oh, and it's raining in the qualifying session. How fortunate are we here for Montreal, Quebec, Canada, to be able to see a little bit of rain in the qualifying session. Normally, I don't do qualifying sessions, not because I don't find them interesting, just because of the fact of keeping the uploads tidy, but because this is championship clinching today potentially, and as well because this is going to be my last F1 broadcast probably until the fall rolls around. I think it's quite fitting. Let's get into it. First out on track is going to be that of Curveball. He has decided to fit the intermediate tires, as I'm assuming everybody else has. It appears Hemp Head currently has the wets fit, although I don't believe, now the circuit is in no condition for the wets at the moment. There does become a certain point to where the wets are necessary, but as you can tell, there's not really standing water on the circuit. There's no puddles, just kind of building up there. The surface is obviously very greasy, as you can tell. Not necessarily for the wets, and probably not going to see those in this session. I haven't been pinged telling me that there's going to be rain in the race session. But for now, what I can tell you this is that rain does make for a very interesting qualifying session. Specifically that if there is no rain for the race, because now you're going to see guys potentially, let's just, for gits and shiggles here, we could see a guy like Curveball throw on a really conservative setup here, because obviously parc fermé conditions are in effect. See Curveball throw on a very conservative setup here, go for the absolute best in qualifying, then be on the slightly slower end for the race, however, be close enough towards the front that that's not necessarily going to matter. Of course, this is a track that doesn't see as much overtaking as, say, your everyday Las Vegas or Monza. It's still possible. I will say you'll have to work for it a lot more on this circuit, but it does happen. Let's see what Curveball has to offer. As he'll be making his way into the Senna. I think is it turn 1 or turn 2 that is labeled the Senna corner, either way. Kind of a fun little opening start to this lap here. Exiting turn 2, that car's naturally going to want to get away from you there, as we just saw with Curveball. That's in the dry or the wet. Through the transition of 3 and 4. That's a bit of a tricky one, because you go too fast through it. That wall on the outside heading through turn 5 definitely does creep up on you there pretty consistently. Turn 6. Now, this is interesting there, because turn 6, we see a lot of guys take a lot of curb on the inside. It does slightly throw your car off kilter if you do that. And not only that, we got to get a good line through turn 7 then with DRS here, heading into the 8 and 9 chicane coming up. Now, in real life, that inner part of the chicane there, is, I believe, has been turned to gravel, or turned to grass, either one. So, not runoff there anymore. There is still in this game, obviously. But, yeah, so that's a bit of a interesting little thing there, in towards the hairpin at turns 10 and 11 after that, and then back on the throttle for the Casino Straight, then heading towards the Wall of Champions chicane. Of course, no DRS activated for the time being, obviously considering the rain is happening. So in through. Oh, he's invalidated. Yes, he has. He's gone too far over the curb on the inside of the second corner of turn 14. So that means the first, I think, true time on the board will not belong to curbside. I believe it's going to be, maybe not Jabor, I think it's the Ferrari of Hemphead. It's not Hemphead. He is on the full wets, by the way. I believe it's going to be Tarzan, actually. Tarzan across the line has set the benchmark. It's a 119.970. As into the first corner, he goes. The Aston of Angry Wallace has gone 124.97. It's about 5.5 tenths behind. The other Ferrari, I believe this is Bong. Oh, Bong, a bit of a slide there out of 5. We now have, that is Hemphead now crossing the line. He's gone about 4 seconds slower. We've got the other V-carb of, it's not Curveball, it is going to be Pontiac coming out of the final corner. He has taken Wall of Champions slightly slower. But across the line for him, it will be third, 1:26.45. That's a respectable time there. The Mercedes, however, of Charlie Golf, potentially on the precipice of winning the championship tonight, a 1:19.692. That's what he needed. And what I will say is this: I do not see Reimer anywhere to be found on tonight's grid. That is definitely as into the wall. Goes Charlie Golf there, I believe, shedding a bit of front wing as well. Reimer is checked in for this race. I don't know, I'm just checking in the checking in the thing here. Let me see if I can give Reimer potentially an invite if he's available. This is, of course, a potentially... Oh, gee, he's not even online, is he? Wow. Reimer's not even online. Charlie Golf so much as finishes this race with 11 points to his name, and he's our champion. Huh. Slightly hoping to see a bit of a battle here tonight between the two teammates, but it appears maybe that's not something on the cards, which would be very unfortunate. Into the pit lane goes Charlie Golf, obviously having just smacked his front wing there. We've got Jazz, I believe, coming around the line now. What's he got? To the line for him, it's going to be P3, 1:21.75. Very good. Tarzan's actually gone second. About 3/10 off. That's a very good time for him. It does look as if it... Oh, big slide there for John the Prince. He has kept the car going, albeit I think he's going to be backing off here. That's unfortunate for John the Prince. Tarzan coming back towards the line now. He's not on a push lap, I don't believe. Curveball has since gone third. He does appear like he's on a push lap at the moment. I can see him flickering on and about his energy store. Angry Walrus, a 1:19.036. That's insane. That's a great lap there for Walrus. Coming around the line next, I believe, is going to be the other V-Carb of Pontiac. I'm not sure he's actually doing a lap here. Curveball, I don't believe, is on a push anymore. He was temporarily. He's now a second behind. We've got the McLaren of Jazz, who I don't believe is on a push, although it looks like he might actually be coming back around to start one now. Into the wall of champions. Gets through it pretty cleanly. He has hit the wall on the outside. Although he's not hit it enough to damage the car. That will happen from time to time. Begins his lap now. Two McLarens currently sitting 5th and 7th. Bit of slide of the back end there, heading in towards the turn-out phase of, or the acceleration phase of Turn 1. Johnny Damon telling me now that rain will not be in the cards for the race. So what that tells me is that this grid here, again, as we were talking about earlier when I was referring to Curveball, you know, whatever setup he might be using, that is now incredibly relevant, considering that this will be a dry race session. So we've got guys like, obviously, the usual suspects, right, of Angry Walrus and Charlie Golf are up there. Tarzan, I think, has done really good in recent weeks as well. But Pontiac Bandit, John the Prince, Curveball, Jazz, Jabor, Hemphead, and Bongit, and a couple of the other guys outside the top 10, I think they could all have a shot here of making their way into at least the top 7, maybe even more than that. Red Bull of Owa has spun it coming out of the pit lane having exited the pit lane and exiting turn 2. That car has found the barriers on the outside, I believe. Not ideal for him. Across the line was the V-Carb of Pontiac Bandit, who I believe is starting a new one here. Curveball is making his way down the Casino Straight. For the time being, heading into the Wall of Champions. The rain, I will say, does actually appear to be getting lighter. Jazz has gone quickest, a 1:18.814. And if you had any indication, or needed any indication, that it was getting quicker out there, there you go. With 9 minutes 15 to go, we've had a lot of running on the intermediate so far. This track is actually almost looking good enough for the dries. For the dry, soft tires. Curveball, I think, has recognized that. He's gone within a 2/10 of Jazz's time. What is that, 5/100ths in between Curveball and Walrus? That's a very good gap there. We do have a yellow flag somewhere along the line. I'm not rightly sure who it's for or what happened, but as you can tell, again, it is raining definitely a lot less. So, you know, were there guys out there that, like, you know, potentially... I mean, we kind of assumed that it was going to rain the entire 16, 18 minutes, whatever it might be. That doesn't actually now appear to be the case. Some of these guys throw on a wet setup, trying to get the most out of the wet portion of this qualifying session. Because I'm assuming that these guys haven't necessarily planned that this was going to turn to a dry session. Because if it was, they probably wouldn't have really gone out on the intermediate tires. Let's say a dry session turns to rain, you're not going to go out during the rain. That's actually gone the opposite here. I think these guys have actually done something very interesting. They've put together a lot of competitive times here in the wet, and now that it's becoming dry, I actually have genuinely no idea who's going to take the top spot, considering I don't know who has set up their car to do what. Jazz, I believe, is starting a timed lap here. I could be wrong. Often I am. Curveball has censored. Oh, and that's on the straight as well. Curveball has genuinely binned it somewhere along the line. Oh, and I believe that was a bit of contact there. Yes, it was between Jabor and Hemphead. I don't really know what that was, but those two cars came together entering the pit lane. As Curveball has retired somewhere along the line. I'm not rightly sure, actually. I think it was down the Casino Straight prior to the chicane, though it could be wrong. Pontiac Bandit making his way out of the hairpin now. I'm interested to see what the elapsed time will be at the end of this one. And I believe he's run out of fuel. Yes, he has. Jazz has since gone purple sector 2. This is quite interesting here. 7 minutes remaining in the session, and our driver who could be winning the championship after today's race is currently P6. For him, that's a problem. I mean, this track is definitely, it's definitely close and tight and dangerous if you're not in the right place around the right people, and I think Charlie Golf right now could be in a bit of trouble if he doesn't get out of this. Jazz has entered the pit lane, the crew not ready, having just put the McLaren in the garage, and they're going to magically spawn 15 other guys to be able to go in there and put it in there. Okay, so with 6 minutes 25 remaining in the session, we now suddenly have something really interesting taking place. Because these guys are realistically going to get one or maybe two, if they're lucky, you know, runs at a qualifying lap now. Charlie Golf doesn't ping this one. I tell you what, he could be in some serious danger. He's got 6 minutes. You know, give or take a minute and 15, minute and 10 seconds to get around the circuit. Oh, big slide for Charlie. Oh, and into the wall. And this is what I'm talking about here. This is a mistake that he couldn't afford to make. He's got to get that car turned around. He's got to get into the pit lane. He's got to be able to replace the front wing, go back out on an outlap, and then start his one-timer. Any additional, you know, leeway that Charlie Golf had to the end of the session to be able to get a representative soft tire time in is now just totally out the window. This is becoming, it has to be said, a kind of a headache moment here for the Mercedes. That's pretty incredible, tell you the truth. Owa and Johnny Damon, two drivers who have yet to put together a timed attempt. Owa's actually on the intermediate still, whereas this is not realistic to real life. In real life, that'd actually be probably a halfway decent ideal. You know, that tread wears off of the intermediate tires. It is a super soft tire compound. That's why we see, you know, them take those intermediates as long as they possibly can before switching to the dries, because they are a very usable tire, very quick tire. I don't believe that's how it works in the game, but, you know, still. Owa has gone purple sector 2. Yellow flag in sector 1. I believe it's one of the Williams. Johnny Damon, I think, is actually who that was, the culprit there. Yes, he's missing the end plate on the left side. I tell you what, I know the track is green, but these guys do not actually appear to have been, you know, as ready here for some dry weather running. It'll be very interesting to see. Owa has actually gone P8 on his intermediate tires. That's actually a fairly good lap there. 4 minutes 10 remaining in the session. Jazz is on an outlap, coming up behind him. will be his teammate of John the Prince. He is about... Oh, he's hit the wall as well. He's missing a lot of the front wing. These guys are spinning and crashing left, right, and center. I mean, this is a Lance Stroll tribute video at this point, because we've seen so many guys lose front wing right now. By the way, we've still got like 30-some-odd laps of a racing session after this. I don't know what the difficulties are that these guys are facing. Just relatively low grip. I don't know. So, Jazz is coming around the line to start his, what I would assume, probably final time lap attack. And I say that because, again, you know, minute 15, minute 10 lap time here. We got 3 minutes 15 to go. Unless Jazz has put 2 hot laps worth of fuel into the car, then this is probably going to be his one chance here. Into the first 2 corners. He's going to hug the apex to turn 2 very tight, I have to say. Oh, and even then, it's getting very difficult getting on throttle there. This is difficult here. I'm not entirely sure that this is going to be a pole-worthy time. That car, and I think he is going to eventually back off here. I do not know. The ailments, at least through that first sector, are actually taking control of a lot of people right now. Behind him, we have Angry Walrus on a flyer. He's not improving either. He has backed off this occasion. We got 2 minutes 25 remaining. Curbside doesn't actually appear to be on a... Well, we'll have to wait and see. He doesn't appear to be on a flyer. His energy store hasn't flicked on yet. I don't believe, yeah. This is a very interesting qualifying session. I'm very glad I was on for this one. Charlie Golf. Now, this is going to be his one attempt at getting this right, unless does he decide at what point does he, you know, make a mistake on this lap here, be able to back off and get back to the line with about 20 seconds remaining. That's got to be the million-dollar question, because if he nails this one, he won't need to do that. I think he's gone a little bit deep into the braking zone. Big slide there, and Charlie Golf still has yet to have a representative time on the board. He's got plenty of time to get back round. But goodness me, this is getting a little sketchy here. He's going to cut that corner. It won't be a problem for him. 90 seconds remain in the session. Got an Alpine coming around the line now. 1 minute 25 remain. Jabor has retired. That being on track in a genuine incident. If I could go along with the Aston Martin of Angry Walrus, who I believe is on his final flyer. Oh, big slide getting on the throttle. That car has pinged it into the barrier. Has it? I don't believe it has. I think maybe has he retired on track there. I'm not too sure. Through turns 3 and 4. Again, still a little bit slow. 1 minute 5. This is genuinely going to be a mad dash back to the line here. Tarzan to the line, I believe. Is this going to be his first? Soft tire lap, his only attempt as well. Good through turn 1, through turn 2. Is actually done okay, but the big problem has been being able to get on the throttle in a, you know, normal manner here. He has got a little bit of slip there, putting the pedal down through 3 and 4. Oh, and then getting back on the throttle, exiting turn 4. He's gotten really loosey-goosey there. I tell you what, these guys are struggling here. And I couldn't tell you why. Oh, big slide from Tarzan, and that's going to be surely, yes, the end of his qualifying session. He can only amount to 9th. What I can't say, oh, is Bongit's going to lose it out of turn 1. Sepulveda is actually about 3.5 of a second up through Sector 1. One of the only guys so far we've actually been able to see make a clean run through Sector 1 for the time being. Got a Haas off the track outside of turn 9. Sepulveda is still struggling. You could tell. He's back on the throttle now, heading in towards turn 10. He's nearly a second clear of his previous time. Coming to the line first will be Johnny Damon. He is on the intermediate tires, which is interesting. Are those genuinely going to be just... you can tell there is a bit of... Oh, and he's invalidated. Yes, he has. Through that final corner, he's invalidated this time. That's so unfortunate. Sepulveda through the chicane. Gets a little bit of wall on the outside. It's not going to be pole here for Sepulveda, but it will be 6th. 1:19.633. One of the only drivers to actually have a halfway decent lap on the dry compounded tires. Charlie Golf through the chicane. He's actually handled it really well. And to the line he goes. He's only going to be 6th. So currently, as it stands, as Jazz is going to cross the line 118.498, who hasn't improved by all that much, we have some guys here, such as Pontiac Bandit, such as John the Prince, who have put their better times on sets of intermediate tires. Walrus making his way through the chicane. We'll have a little bit of help from the Ferrari ahead of him, which is Hemphead, who has finished 14th. Angry Walrus is going to go pole. 117.935. In a session where nobody could get a clean lap together realistically, it's Angry Walrus on pole by 5.5 of a second. Jazz third, Pontiac fourth. It's actually a second row lockout for the V-Carbs. It'll be Curbside in 5th. Charlie Golf, who needs 11 points tonight to be able to win the Drivers' Championship, starting in P6 in a track where we have seen so far a heavy amount of lack of grip. And he's going to be starting right in the thick of it here. And look at that, the majority of people setting their best times on their intermediates as well. Only 4 cars put together their best time on the soft, dry, compounded tire. Everybody else, despite the session being dry, for about 5-6 minutes there. Very bold. Walrus on pole. What a race this is going to be. So, a beautiful day here, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we needed. So, again, all Charlie Golf needs is to finish with 11 points in today's race. That will be P10. 15 cars on the grid, finish 10th, and you are the CCRL Wednesday tier champion. Money on the line for this season as well, as we've said. However, we'll start properly in the thick of it here among the other drivers around him. I mean, such a difficult qualifying session, that almost everybody having better times in the intermediates. I was reading the Discord. Johnny Damon saying even 3 minutes ago at the back end of the qualifying session that the inners were still the way to go. DRS wasn't activated, track wasn't dry. Softs were the bad call. I actually didn't know that. DRS was never activated, was it? Yeah, that's a good point. So, penultimate round of the season. If necessary, that championship will go into the final round in Brazil. Again, Charlie Golf finished 10th and you're a champion. That's all he's got to do. However, it has been, I think these guys, this is genuinely going to be the only true soft tire running, dry tires that these fellas have had all night. They will have learned nothing from that qualifying session. So, what will happen tonight? Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I'm hoping to attend the real-life F1 race. We've got less than 30 seconds to go. Again, when you see the lights, when you see the grid, it's all time to have it happen. Reimer not on the grid. Charlie Golf needs 11 points to be a champion. In a hard-fought battle this season against his teammate no less, what can he do tonight from Montreal? 4 and eventually 5 lights on, and we are off. 20-34, that's your tire strategy. Walrus gets off the line well. He has cleared Jazz into the corner. Curbside's actually going to go up the inside. Charlie Golf has been shuffled back to 7th as Sepulveda gets underneath. Manson's trying to find it as well, but Manson can't find the grip. Sepulveda and Pontiac Bandit nearly side by side, heading into turns 3 and 4. They have eventually sorted it out, and as they make their way now in through Sector 2. Angry Walrus does lead. Everybody save for Walrus, Curbside, and Tarzan starting on the hard tires. Down the straight now, heading in towards turns 8 and 9. Jazz is behind by 0.3 of a second. Curbside behind him as well, 0.3 of a second. But now, oh, look at this, as Manson's going to get 3-second penalty already. Curbside trying it along the left side of Jazz, heading into the braking zone at turn 10. Remember, this is where Robert Kubica had his massive incident that changed the course of his career. Exiting turn 10 and 11 down the Casino Straight, heading towards the Wall of Champion chicane. It's a bold move. Oh, and the Alpine of Curbside is going to miss his braking points and go into the back of the Aston Martin under braking. He's lost a bit of the front wing as well on the right side. Jazz will clear him heading into turn 1. Curbside had a hell of an opening lap, but has since thrown it away. Curveball has either left the session or is having some sort of difficulty. I'll try to re-invite him if I do have a friend. If not, then, well, I apologize. There's absolutely nothing I can do for you. There ain't nothing I can do here. I'm sorry, I know I'm daft, so I do not have Curveball friended. Well, that's your sign to get me friended so that if you ever leave, you can get rejoined. Walrus has since put 0.9 of a second. Back to Jazz. Jazz has 0.6 back to Curbside, who again, Curbside going to be struggling here. Into the braking zone of the Wall of Champion chicane 1 lap ago. Plowed into the back end of the Aston Martin. Lost the end plate on the right side of the front wing. That will be hampering his cornering ability as well as his braking performance. Because Johnny Damon's going to take Tarzan into the chicane. Wow. Incredible stuff there for Johnny Damon. That's a gutsy move, and that's not the first time in recent years we've seen a Williams make a move into that corner. Brilliant stuff by Johnny Damon as well, as someone else made an overtake there. I was unfortunately focused on the other one too much. That's okay. Charlie Golf has not had a good opening lap here. Again, though, all he needs to do is finish P11. So, by that standards, he is succeeding for the time being. He hasn't hit anything, still has all of his front wing, and he's got some traffic ahead of him that he might be able to navigate if he's quick. Jazz is within 0.2 of a second of Walrus with DRS activated in towards turns 8 and 9. Won't have anything for him there, but what will the exit of turn 9 be? It's not too bad, but he's not going to be close enough as I think. Sepulveda, yes he has. Sepulveda's either made a mistake coming out of turn 9, or it's been just some great driving there by Pontiac and Charlie Golf, and I think it's actually more that first option. Sepulveda was more off to the inside of the circuit, exiting 9. So Pontiac and Charlie Golf have gotten around them. Charlie Golf's going to get around Pontiac here with DRS activated. Yes, he has. Johnny Damon's going to be getting around Sepulveda. That'll be for the 7th spot. But Charlie Golf now up to P5. Beginning the 4th lap of the Grand Prix and heading into the first couple of corners, Jazz has proved to bore the adversary for Walrus so far to this point, although has not necessarily had a clean enough look at him to be able to take the spot. We'll have to wait and see how that one will transpire. Curbside's got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, which is definitely one of those things that will happen quite often on this circuit. Don't you worry about that. I think the good news is here for those that are affected with 3-second time penalties is that there is almost a guarantee that as Jazz clobbers the wall on the outside of turn 9, and somehow that car has not lost any of his front wing. But as I was going to say, it is almost a written guarantee here that there will be drivers with track limits penalties. So if you're Curbside, Tarzan, and Manson, the pressure, at least for now, is off. You've picked up your 3rd warning, you got the penalty. Now you can realistically just kind of chill and just be wary of not picking up an additional 3 seconds. Johnny Damon to the inside of Pontiac Bandit. That'll be for 6th. That wasn't as impressive as the move he made before into Wall of Champions, but it's definitely another good one, as Walrus has picked up a 3-second penalty as well. So our leader of the Grand Prix, and then 4 others on 3-second time penalties. Jazz has slightly fallen off the back of Walrus for the time being. He hasn't quite got back up to the position to be able to challenge. Curveball, I tell you what, for him, Haven't been, what is that, a spot in the positive direction up to third. He's doing quite well. Hemphead's now got 3 seconds as well. Curbside not in position. I think Curveball's going to be in a really good spot here. If he can actually, you know, keep it clean and keep out of trouble here with Jazz and Walrus. Entering turn 10. A good exit here, and he'll take Jazz, maybe even Walrus if he's lucky. Of course, Jazz is going to have DRS to the back end of the Aston. And Curveball, I think, has parked it a little too heavily there on the apex of the corner. Of course, he looked as if he had to check up there for the McLaren, who was heavy on the brakes as well, naturally. And I think that is going to prevent him from making the spot here. Jazz is going to be too far behind entering the chicane to be able to make something happen there. And rarely do we see something happen into turn 1. So I think this one is going to have to wait until next time by. We've got 30 laps to go here in this... Jabor on Owa into the corner. Owa loses it a little bit going over the curb. He's not hit anything, which is good. I'm not actually sure there was any contact there between Jabor and Owa. I think Owa, the car got unsettled going over the apex curb there through the first section of the chicane. I'm not really sure. It looked a clean move to me by the Williams. Perhaps Owa will disagree, but it's not gone well for him. Remember, only 3 cars reside on the medium tires, Walrus, Curbside, and Tarzan. Those are guys who I think kind of were looking out for early safety car here. It's not quite happened, although it's absolutely still possible. Tarzan will get around Pontiac Bandit into turn 8 and 9. That's a slightly rare move to be made. You don't really see cars make moves into that section despite DRS being attached. Curbside is apparently left go. No, he's rejoined. Okay, that was a little weird. Perhaps in the pause menu. Curveball. DRS activated the back end of Jazz. Don't believe he's going to be attacking the position quite yet, potentially into turn 1. I would argue the McLaren's gotten a better getaway that time. Yeah, it's about dead even still between the two. Looking a little bit further back, I think Hemphead's going to want to move on Jabor here. Nearly had a look heading into the Wall of Champion chicane. Did eventually back out of it. I don't think he was really in position to make a dive for it there. Tarzan, going to have a peek around the outside of Pontiac. Not quite. He'll check back in behind the V-carb. So, penalty-wise, Walrus, our leader, 3 seconds of penalty. Curbside, and Charlie Golf, the 3 seconds, the pair of them. Tarzan on 3 seconds, Manson on 6 seconds, and Hemphead on 3 seconds as well. Remember I said that time penalties are pretty much a written guarantee here, and it's absolutely happened, and there it is again, middle of the sentence, as Jabor's picked one up as well. Tarzan to the inside of Pontiac. This is a big move here, and Tarzan's made it happen. Nicely done. That could even open the door here for Manson. Manson, despite being on 6 seconds, I think he's still in position to be able to, try to make up some spots here. It's definitely possible. Jazz around the outside of Angry Walrus. New leader in the McLaren of Jazz. He does hit the wall a little bit there, but still. Charlie Golf is being overtaken there by Johnny Damon. And that being for the pit spot. Pontiac Bandit getting around Tarzan. A lot of moves today, especially with this DRS section. They're getting it done quite early, even before the braking zone. Sometimes you got to worry about the move being left a little bit too late, and then, you got guys making contact into the Wall of Champion chicane. That's actually not been the case really today. Manson peeking around the outside of Tarzan. Will he try to perform a bit of a switchback here? No, he'll have better acceleration to the outside. Side by side into 3 and 4. This is going to get hairy. Manson is not going to back... Oh, yeah, he does back out of it, doesn't he? Yeah. I think Manson kind of realized, I don't believe that corner was within his rights. So he has backed out of it there, back to Tarzan. That is... Tarzan's actually going to pick up a additional 3-second penalty. Into the turn 10 braking zone, the top 3, within about a second and a half of each other here. Curbside outside of DRS range to the top 3. He will be under pressure from Johnny Damon. Johnny Damon, by the way, I would absolutely argue driver of the day so far. He's made up 10 positions here, and I think a lot of those as well have been genuine overtakes. Not really has he found moves where, carnage or conundrum happened ahead of him. He's genuinely made those up on track as well. It's been brilliant from Damon. Manson's going to overtake Tarzan. Tarzan's actually into the pit lane now that I say it. On the medium tires. Is this going to be strategical here? A bit early, no? Well, it's not a front wing change. Well, it is purely strategical from Tarzan. That's bold. Contact there between Owa and John the Prince. So Tarzan in early. from the mediums to the hards. A bit of an undercut here, potentially. That's going to have to be something that Walrus and Curbside have a look out for here. Because Walrus was finally able to be overtaken by Jazz. And, I mean, again, he's on the mediums. The mediums don't look in visibly bad condition. You know, there's no apparent signs of braining. There's no, you know, anything else. That's a bit of a bold call there, as Curbside and Charlie Golf side by side, exiting 10 and 11. And now they're going to be wheel-to-wheel heading down the Casino Straight here. Both cars with DRS. It's going to be wheel-to-wheel. Tell you what, this is looking a good move here as we watch along with Johnny Damon side by side into the chicane. Charlie Golf's going to get there. Yes, he will. So Charlie Golf has separated himself from Curveball there in fantastic fashion. Nicely done there for Golf. Curveball has worked his way up to the back end of Angry Walrus. Jazz is your leader. With no 3-second penalty attached to his name. That's incredibly important, that. And what's even more important is Angry Walrus. An additional 3-second penalty. That'll put him at 6. Oh, bit of a slide there for Owa. He has caught it. The Prince is actually going to get around the Red Bull now. Yes, he does. Tarzan is actually, I'll give him the benefit here, he is actually climbing back up to the back end of Owa. Of course, Owa with a couple of mistakes, but he is making up some good time on those fresh, hard tires. Jazz exiting turn 10 through turn 11 and then down the Casino Straight. Does lead Walrus by 9/10 of a second. Curveball is now outside of the second DRS window. He does have it, and I think he will. Heading down the pit straight as well, there's only the 2 detection points. One of them for the DRS going from turn 7 to 8, and the other detection point exiting turn 9, heading into the hairpin, and that does go for both the Casino Straight DRS and the pit straight, as Curveball was only able to shave off about 3/10 of a second. Oh no, Tarzan has gone round at the hairpin. Yes, he has. He's not hit anything, but goodness me, that's a shame. 2/10 of a second. Bong it to the back end of Jabor. Making the way through turn 2. Oh, big slide for Jabor. He has caught it. He's not hit anything, so that'll be good for him. But he has since lost, I believe, 2-3 positions there after a slide. Tarzan's actually into the pit lane. Again, and he has retired, unfortunately, for Tarzan. He was looking like it was on for a pretty good day for him. I do think pitting that early from the hards to the mediums was from the mediums to the hards rather was slightly a mistake. I think it was a valid attempt. I'm just not quite sure. Now that one there was in his best interest. Beginning now the 12th lap of the Grand Prix. We're coming up closer to halfway. Johnny Damon having a peek around the outside of Walrus into 1. Walrus is going to stay ahead of Damon through 2. But Damon right up here now. Again, Damon has made up over 10 positions on the day. In fact, 12 to be exact. John the Prince now with a 3-second time penalty. Johnny Damon is flying through this field. Another reminder that currently Charlie Golf, 6 seconds of penalty, will drop, I believe, to at least P7. Again, he only needs to finish 11th or higher to be able to win tonight's driver's... Oh no! And Charlie Golf has gone around. It's the commentator's curse. He's had an incident coming out of turn 7. That car against the barriers. I don't believe he's hit anything. It doesn't appear that he has. He's lost a spot, and he's down to P7. Somehow, after all of that, Charlie Golf only lost 1 spot net on the track, as making their way down the Casino Straight, Johnny Damon has separated himself from Walrus. Johnny Damon is now plus 13 spots on the day, from 14th to 2nd. As, Walrus is going to have a slide there going through turn 1 and 2. Was it a slide, or did he have help from Curveball? Because that car was kind of pinged sideways. There's not really a situation where you're going to go sideways through turn 1 like that. I think Curveball may have made contact there. The penance for that is that Curveball is going to pick up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That'll put him up at 6 seconds. So now, 5 cars on track reside without penalty. 5 of which with penalty, 3 seconds, 4 of which also with penalty at 6 seconds. Walrus has actually now just missed the chicane through 8 and 9. He is struggling now. The car who looked, as we've got an incident towards the back, Bonga has gone. He has hit the wall. He's lost the end plate on the left side as well as a couple of the winglets, but I don't believe... No, it's not going to warrant a virtual or full safety car. Unfortunate for him. He'll have to do a rest of the lap here, genuinely on track. Jazz has got 1.7. Back to Johnny Damon. That gap is staying rather stagnant, but he is putting time back to curveball. Charlie Golf trying to recover. He has since gotten back P6. Might get P5 after he's dealt with Sepulveda to the inside of the Sauber. And he has made that one happen, yes. As we have another yellow flag. Yes, we do. Someone's gone... Oh, it's Owa. Owa has gone off at Wall of Champions. He'll have to spin that one back around. He has lost a hell of a lot of the front wing as well. That one, unfortunately, is not either going to result in a safety car. Owa's going to have to do a full lap of the circuit with red front wing here. Oh, terrible. So unfortunate. Bonga on his way in. He has pit for fresh intermediate tires at the line this next time by. Yeah, still just over about 20 laps to go. Pontiac's gone round or something. No, it's Jabor. Jabor has spun round, exiting turn 9. Oh, and into the wall heavy. Oh, God almighty! Well, it's a good thing ghosting is on. If Travis Brown was commentating this race, that would have been a Hank Award there nearly if ghosting wasn't on. If you watch Mooncar on Twitch, that reference would have made sense to you. Angry Walrus into the pit lane. He has put on fresh set of hard tires. Of course, he started on the mediums. So he'll exit the pit lane here roughly P9. Yep. I think he's going to lose the spot to... no, he won't lose the spot here to John the Prince. He'll actually gain it back over Hemp Head. Sepulveda's now picked up his first 3-second time penalty. Only 4 cars on track remain with no penalty. But that essentially what that does for us is that gives us a bit of a reset button here. As Jabor has retired, that I believe is in the pit lane. Front wing change for Owa. Yeah, unfortunately Jabor has retired to the pit lane. 5 of which with penalty have 6 seconds. Only 4 of which with 3 seconds. Oh no! Wow, as Johnny Damon's going to pick up 3 seconds as well. Well, that was a bit of an interesting situation there. Jabor's car, having retired from the session to the pit lane, had actually parked itself in the fast lane of the pit lane, and Owa's car had to be stopped until that car was cleared. He's lucky he wasn't there for too long. Jazz leads Johnny Damon by 7/10 of a second here. Of course, Damon has that 3-second time penalty. In towards turn 7. 3 drivers remain on track with no 3-second penalty to their name. 5 drivers will essentially be against the kind of against the grain here with 6 seconds of penalty, so they'll be the ones at the disadvantage. Jazz, I believe, has kept a clean race so far. I don't recall seeing him having gone off track at all. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there with him. Johnny Damon's going to make his way to the inside. Damon with DRS overtakes Jazz. And so Jazz now back to second. I think Jazz might want to consider taking this one easy. Of course, Damon does have that 3 seconds of penalty, so Jazz doesn't really need to throw caution to the wind immediately. Manson is going to get around Sepulveda on track prior to the braking zone at the Wall of Champion chicane. So he'll be up to P5, at least on track. Of course, with the penalty applied, that's going to be slightly different. Curbside. Is going to be breathing down the neck of Hemp Head here. And I believe he'll be able to make that move happen in towards turn 1. Oh, I thought he was going to send it there. Chose not to. Would have been a bit rich if he did. Walrus now up to 9 seconds in penalty. It's gone extra bad now for Angry Walrus. That's unfortunate. 7 to... Oh, Sepulveda has a bit of a moment there. I think exiting turn 7. That car is ghosted. He's since gotten himself back there, but he was within 7/10 of a second to the back of R. Manson. He's now lost a bit of time there. We saw the car ghosted. That tells me something has gone wrong. Curbside has actually gotten around Hemphead, heading in towards turns 8 and 9. Again, very difficult to make something happen in that section of the track. It doesn't always happen. So through turn 6 and 7, again, I think it's going to be about until lap 20 that we do see cars pit from the hard tires to what will eventually be the mediums. Walrus has gotten around Sepulveda coming out of turn 2, so up to 6th for him, at least on track. Of course, he does have the penalties applied. That's not going to help him whatsoever. Five-tenth of a second for Jazz back to Damon. Owa is going to pick up 3 seconds of time penalty, so that whittles it down to 2. Only now 2 cars on track reside without 3-second penalty to their name. It is that of Jazz, and it will be that of Bongit. Curveball into the pit lane here. Might be one of the first guys from the hards to the mediums, I think on strategical reasons. Grid getting a little bit spread out. We're still having some moves be made here. Been a fun one so far to this point, though. Coming up closer on 15 laps to go now. No safety car. No virtual safety car. It's been a very clean one. Curveball's going to be getting around Sepulveda to the outside, heading in towards turn 10. That'll be up to P6 for him. We've got only 2 cars remaining on track with no penalty to their name. Jazz in second, who I think is outright the... Well, honestly, if I had to be real, I think these 2 are the absolute fastest on track. I think I would give the edge to Johnny Damon. He's worked his way through traffic unbelievably well. Although, of course, he does have that 3-second penalty to his name, so I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure how that one's going to work out for him. Owa has picked up an additional 3 seconds. It's just Bongit and Jazz. Of course, Bongit doesn't appear like he'll be making up any positions without the penalty. Jazz, of course, at this stage would take the win. 19.5 seconds back behind is Charlie Golf. He is, I believe, he has not actually yet pit for the medium tires. We are seeing an increased amount of drivers actually doing that. Curveball has done it. Pontiac Bandit's done it. Hemphead, Bongit, and Owa have also pit for the mediums. Curbside's going to go around John the Prince actually through turns 8 and 9 there. Not even with the with DRS. He's done that cleanly through the braking zone as well. Damon to the pit lane. Owa has retired. That being in the pit lane, it will be medium tires for the Williams. Charlie Golf, I believe, is probably going to be coming in this time as well. I hope he's not held up by the Red Bull in the pit lane, as we saw that happen with, I believe it was Owa, with Jabor's retirement. Into the pit lane, medium tires going on. The car will now leave the pit lane. The Red Bull coming up. Is he going to have to stop? Yes, he will. Oh, no. And we have a traffic jam in the pit lane as 4 cars stacked up here. For some reason, the Sauber's actually gone clean through of Sepulveda. So Sepulveda's made up 2 spots there in the pit lane, with the game being slightly daft as Charlie Golf was held up, Manson was held up, and John the Prince was held up there by the retiring Red Bull. That's not going to help John the Prince whatsoever. That's not going to help Manson. Charlie Golf, of course, I think at this position is pretty fair to say, unless he loses it on his own and crashes, he's going to be crowned our champion. Jazz into the pit lane. Medium tires about to go on for him. Johnny Damon, I believe, behind him, has eventually stopped for the medium tires. Jazz in and out. Will be overtaken by Damon. I don't suppose the gap is going to be all too long. It's going to be about 5 seconds here, probably, would be my guess. Jazz exiting the pit lane now. Damon making his way through and exiting turn 2. No, it's only about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. So that has worked itself very well here for Jazz. Angry Walrus nearly trying to get into the action as well. Of course, he's got 9 seconds of penalty. Sepulveda under pressure from Charlie Golf and Manson. Both cars with DRS to the back end of the Sauber. Through the Wall of Champions chicane he goes. Manson is, of course, as I've said, has joined this party as well. Oh, and that's a lot of contact! Charlie Golf clean into the back end of Sepulveda. Oh, goodness me. Charlie Golf has misjudged his braking point. He's gone clean into the back of the Sauber. He's lucky he's not missing front wing. Hemphead has spun the car around, exiting turn 2. But that was a proper clobber in there by the Mercedes. He is incredibly lucky that it's only just resulted in him losing a position. I didn't believe Sepulveda had hit the brakes any earlier than what he normally does. Oh, that one's going to stir some stuff up in the Discord later. Charlie Golf actually... Sorry, that's our Manson to the inside of Sepulveda nearly there through turn 10. Wasn't able to quite make the move happen. As now Manson to the inside of Sepulveda. He will make that one happen. Or was Charlie Golf nearly again there? Having difficulty finding the brake pedal. Johnny Damon, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That will put him at 6. Charlie Golf, that time does have to do a bit of a maneuvering to get around Sepulveda. He hasn't made it happen. Great battle here, but I think potentially Charlie Golf is starting to get fed up with the proper defense here of Sepulveda. Of course, Charlie Golf has not had himself. He's now up to 9 seconds in penalty. Charlie Golf, for what it's worth, has had himself a very, very not-so-fun day as Walrus now. 3 seconds in penalty for him. I'm going to read this again. Charlie Golf is to finish 11 points ahead of Reimer, so that is... What do we say it was? I think it was just P10. Yeah, so that's where I got confused. He's got to finish 11 points ahead of Reimer. It's actually P10 for 11 points. So, 10th or higher for Charlie Golf. At the moment, I don't actually believe he's going to be doing that. Curbside's going to pick up his second 3-second penalty. That'll put him at 6. As now Manson and Sepulveda side by side. Wheel to wheel through turns 6 and 7. Been a hell of a fight so far between all that are involved. Charlie Golf, P8. John the Prince in 9th. At the line this time will be 10 laps to go. Into the braking zone. Manson once again will try his best to find a move around Sepulveda. It's not quite happened. Pontiac Bandit 5.5 somewhat seconds behind this battle. As we have a yellow flag. Bongett has gone around. Yes, he has. Just into the grass on the inside there. No worry for a safety car. Oh, look at this! Oh, it's 3 wide! Charlie Golf has gotten around all of them! I think they were side by side there. They're still 3 abreast. Oh, and it's going to be Manson shuffled out. I think what happened there is Manson and Prince were side by side. Sorry, Manson and Sepulveda side by side going through Wall of Champions. Charlie Golf was able to get through it cleanly because he was far enough behind, and he snuck his way through. And has made his way up to 6th. What an incredible move there from Golf. Double overtake to get himself up to 6th. By the way, for what it's worth as well, John the Prince doing much of the same. Man, oh man, what a turn of events that was. Less than 10 laps to go now. They have a yellow flag. Pontiac Bandit, I think, has had somewhat of an error somewhere. This race does look as if it will stay green to its conclusion unless we get something incredible here towards the back end. Although I think... it has been very close. A lot of contact for a lot of drivers involved, but nothing... I think to the point of, throwing that safety car. We've had some front wings been shed. Still, not convinced. Manson's quite a far ways behind. I'm wondering if he has any damage. Nothing visible in the front wing. Perhaps on the side pod that we can't see. That's always a possibility. Charlie Golf leads John the Prince 0.3 of a second. Of course, he's got 9 seconds worth of penalty as well. All he has to do is finish in 10th place or higher, and he will be champion. Of course, prior to that overtake, getting round Sepulveda and Manson, it didn't look like that was necessarily going to be the case. He was back there in like 8th or 9th. At that point, Pontiac Bandit was still actually 5 seconds behind, so he could have been able to put Charlie Golf behind. Bongit wouldn't have actually had a penalty. I think Charlie Golf has gotten away with one there pretty much scot-free. We'll have to wait and see how that transpires. The move that Charlie Golf needed to be able to win the championship, I think outright, and it is simply happening. Unless, does a safety car happen here within these last couple of laps, and we get a massive shuffling about of those in the order. And of course, Charlie Golf with his 9 seconds of penalty would lose a couple of spots there. Unfortunately, unfortunately for Sepulveda, he's now picked up 3 seconds. That puts him at 6. All that's doing is helping Charlie Golf's chances of actually being able to stay and keep these positions, which is just massive for him. Because we have a yellow flag. Oh, we've got... Johnny Damon has spun it round. Yes, he has. Now that's exiting turn 2. We did also have the Ferrari go round. I was more slightly concerned about the Ferrari, just seeing if he had hit anything. John the Prince now got 3 seconds of time penalty. Puts him at 6 seconds. Coming up closer on 5 laps to go. We're not quite there yet. As Bongit's got 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Charlie Golf's now got 3 seconds for multiple warnings. That will put him at 12 seconds worth of penalty. That is incredible stuff for him. Not what he needs whatsoever. 12 seconds of penalty for what it's worth. Would put him around Pontiac Bandit, of course, penalty in play. So wouldn't necessarily entirely need to worry about that. John the Prince has actually gotten around Charlie Golf heading through the Wall of Champion chicane there. Sepulveda trying to get to it. Charlie Golf to the inside of Prince. Going through 1. Pretty much even on the brakes there. He'll have to power it around the outside, which is possible. They'll have better grip. John the Prince has responded quite well. Sepulveda right amongst the mix here, in through 3 and 4. Oh, contact made! McLaren into Sauber, McLaren into wall. Front wing into pieces. Oh, and just trying to fit 2 into 1 like that, it was almost never going to work. I think the real loser of that battle is Sepulveda because he's been caught up in it. The McLaren had gone sideways clean in front of him. It almost might be worth a penalty to Charlie Golf if John the Prince feels that one's worth reporting. Oh, and it's all going away now. Charlie Golf continues to find drama in this Grand Prix, even when, again, all he needed was to finish the race without issue. Oh, if there's a post-race penalty to be applied into Charlie Golf, this one could go to Brazil. John the Prince into the pit lane. Is he going to be replacing a front wing here or a retirement? And it's a retirement for John the Prince. Yeah, he's had himself a hell of a day. I think he'll have some complaints as well for Charlie Golf. Again, for what it's worth, I don't mean to sound harsh on Charlie Golf, but the two of them were never going to be able to go through that corner. They were side by side, coming out of 2. Golf around the outside of the McLaren. You'd have to chalk that one up as a racing incident, really. I don't think anyone's necessarily done anything wrong. Not really sure what to say about that one. Just, I have the Discord open in case John the Prince wants to have any discussion with that one. I'm not sure it's worth penalty. It's not like John the Prince really dove it in there and gave Charlie Golf no option. They were side by side. I think maybe Charlie Golf's issue was he didn't want to cut the corner and pick up another 3 seconds. Therefore had to strictly abide by the track limits, and that is not what's helped John the Prince, considering he was there side by side, and how that corner is structured. We'll go through with somebody here as they go through it. Sauber, if we can. No, we've passed that already. We'll go through it with Pontiac Bandit. Angry Wallace got 15 seconds now. I think the McLaren has the corner to the inside, but the problem is, again, Charlie Golf has to keep that car within track limits to not pick up penalty. So, this is the scenario here. Charlie Golf is 12 seconds of penalty. He'll lose spots to Sepulveda and Manson. Will not lose the spot to Pontiac Bandit. Penalty applied either way. I don't believe Charlie Golf is going to go into Brazil, not with the championship. At the line this time will be 3 laps to go. Manson now with 9 seconds of penalty. As Manson and Sepulveda side by side through 1 and 2. Sepulveda took a hell of a hit there on behalf of the spinning McLaren ahead of him. So unfortunate. Just didn't really have any other way to get out of it as we have a yellow flag. Oh, and a safety car! Are you insane? The Ferrari of Hemphead has spun that car around. Exiting turn 3 and 4. And with 3 laps to go, we have a safety car. Wow. Of all the time to throw a safety car in this Grand Prix, it's now. That's a bit bold. If anything, what this does is this stacks up the field. I don't believe there is going to be enough time for the safety car to wait for everybody to catch back up. It may go green with only these 3 cars behind it. I think it's got to be in at the end of the lap here. Charlie Golf into the pit lane. He will put on the soft tires. Of course, he'll be losing spots now. I think as well to Pontiac Bandit and Bong It. And it won't be Bong It. It's not going to be Hemphead either. Safety car will be in at the end of this lap. Is Pontiac a lap down? Yeah, I believe he is. Or no, he's picked up that lap now, hasn't he? Yes, he has. So, safety car in at the end of this lap. Charlie Golf exits the pit lane. Pontiac Bandit, the car in 9th position. I just want to look at Bong It anyway. Bong It, I believe, in P10, although I do believe he is a lap... Oh, what in the hell? Car spun round there. Is that the Alpine of Curbside? I believe it may have been. So, with 2 laps to go at the line this time, Jazz is obviously in the easiest position to win here. All he's got to do is let Johnny Damon and Walrus do their own duty here. 2 laps to go. No DRS for the remainder of the Grand Prix. Johnny Damon now decides to step on the loud pedal, and he has caught Walrus, I think, slightly by surprise. Jazz wasn't able to actually rebound that well either. Curveball may have a look for him here, and no, not quite. Into turns 1 and 2. I think for everybody not named Jazz, this is an absolute dogfight for position. Everybody else, of course, involved does have penalty to be applied. Jazz drifting slightly behind. He knows he doesn't need to do anything spectacular. He's just got to get the car home. Think Johnny Damon could actually be well on for a podium here if he's good. That actually could also go for Curveball and Curbside here. These 2 guys might be in a genuine battle, Curveball and Curbside. I think Damon's got to do what as best he can to be able to stay ahead and to just not make any mistake. Curveball's going to try the outside of Jazz here. Oh, the McLaren's going to go deep into the corner. Still wheel to wheel. Oh, and I tell you what, Jazz is going to lose another position. Because I think Curbside in this as well. Coming to the line with a lap to go. Jazz is really boxed in now, as well as Curveball boxed in behind Walrus. Jazz is going to rejoin the line 4th in line. Curveball has picked up his 9th second in penalty. Final lap of the Grand Prix underway. Of course, we'll look at... Sorry, there will be DRS enabled. We will look at afterwards the final result, but I do believe Charlie Golf's just got to complete this lap cleanly, and he will be champion. As we have a yellow flag, it's the Ferrari. One of them is off track behind. Charlie Golf now with the fastest lap. I believe there's an extra point for that anyway. Curveball to the inside of Walrus. Oh, and Walrus is not going to afford him the opportunity to go underneath. Curbside's actually going to get around Jazz. Yes, he will. So Curveball's going to take that spot over Jazz. As Curveball's going to take Walrus. As Walrus is now going to also lose the spots Curbside. Curbside's actually going to go over the curb there. I think it was maybe slightly forced by the Aston of Walrus. Oh, big swap there to the inside. Curveball's going for it. Oh, contact there. Perhaps a couple of unhappy drivers here down the casino straight for the final time. And I believe no matter what happens here, as long as Jazz keeps it clean, he will be the winner of this Canadian Grand Prix, and he's kept that final quarter nice and tidy. Jazz is going to go ahead and win the Canadian Grand Prix. However, the bigger story, Charlie Golf, as he puts Sepulveda behind him as well, had to battle with Reimer all season long, and Reimer, unfortunately for him, didn't show tonight, and Charlie Golf is your CCRL Wednesday tier champion. What an interesting final race that was. Jazz, your winner, the only driver not to pick up penalty tonight. And what a race he's had. Well, Hotspot, thank you for joining us. What a fantastic season this has been. And it'll be a while before you hear my voice again, but it's not a goodbye, it's a so long. Until the fall. We'll see you then.